Hi, I'm going to be making spanakopita. So here are the ingredients: spinach, green onions, dill, parsley, phyllo, eggs, feta, pepper, and olive oil. So I'm going to show you step by step what to do. I'm doing my prep for the filling. So I've chopped everything up. The parsley and the dill and the green onions, and I've crumpled my feta. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to wilt the spinach. So I'm waiting for my water to boil in here. And then once it does, I'm going to stick my spinach in there just until it gets wilted and then pull it out. And in the meantime, I'm going to take my herbs here, my dill and my parsley and my onion, and put it in, mix it with the cheese. So I'm going to make my filling. I think I'm going to need a bigger bowl, which I'll do. And I'm going to scramble my eggs and season it as well. And then the only thing that'll be missing will be the spinach. So once it's boiled, I'm going to come back and show you what to do. Okay, so while I'm waiting for my water to boil, here's a few tips. Okay, so here's my phyllo dough. What I'm gonna do is I decided I'm making my spanakopita in a 13 by 9 pan. So I basically cut my phyllo in half so that my phyllo fits pretty much directly in the pan, so I won't have to overlap as much or cut the phyllo dough while I'm working with it. So what I did is I cut it in half, the whole phyllo dough. Cut it in half, and I'm going to put this one away because I'm not going to use it, and I can put it right back in my fridge for use at another time. Now here's a tip what I do with my dill, because usually when you buy it, it's a huge bunch and you only use what you need for your spanakopita. So what I do is I only keep, I'm going to clean it out here. It's already washed, but I'm going to take the big stems and throw them out. And but I guess you could keep them for soup or whatever. But anyway, so I'm gonna cut it up in really small pieces. Like I'm gonna mince it basically and put it in a freezer bag and keep it in my freezer. So next time I need to make spanakopita or something else that requires dill, I just pull out a bunch of the frozen dill and I put it in my sauce or recipe. Okay, so that's for the dill. Same thing for the parsley. Because when I buy it, I don't use the whole thing. So instead of wasting it or having it turn yellow, whatever, in the fridge, I wash it all and then I'm gonna mince it, put it in a freezer bag, and put it in my freezer. Okay, so look, my water is almost there. Is it? Almost. But now, since it's almost ready, I'm gonna just start filling it. Okay, let's see if I can do this with one hand. Because I thought I had an assistant, but it looks like I don't. Okay. Just to give you an idea, it's not that hard, everybody knows. So you have to put them in there, and we're not cooking them, maybe just 5 minutes till they all wilt, and then we drain them. So it goes really, really fast. So I'm going to fill all of them in here, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so here's my spinach. It's in there. I'm going to leave it in for another minute or so. And then I'm going to drain it, put it in a colander. Okay, so today I decided I'm going to, it looks like a lot of spinach, but once it's all wilted and we're going to rinse it out, it really is not as much spinach as it seems. So what I decided was I'm going to add a little bit of kale. secret little ingredient. My kids won't know. It'll be great. So nobody will notice. And I tend to do this with my kids. I always sneak in, like I'll put lentils in my chocolate chip cookies, or, you know, spinach in my brownies, or, well, in this case there's some kale in the Spanakopita. Nobody will notice. It blends in like the spinach and all the other green. So the spinach is done. So I'm going to take it off the water right now and into a colander. Careful, because it's hot. Okay. Then, once it drains, I'm going to let it cool a little bit. And we have to take out all the water. So we have to basically wring out the spinach. So the spinach was boiled, and I drained it in the colander. Now what I'm doing is I'm wringing out all the excess water, and I'm putting it in here. So take out as much water as possible. I might have to do this twice. Then we are going to chop up our itty bitty pieces of spinach and add it to our feta cheese mixture. Okay, so I've wrung it. So it's pretty dry, drier than it was, right? So I'm going to do it one more time. There won't be a lot of water this time around. Okay, so once it's completely wrung out, I mean, I technically could do this all night and there's still going to be water, but it's okay if there's a little bit of water, just not drenched in water. So you chop it up. This is basically so that when you take a bite of your spinach, your Spanakopita, so that, you know, you don't have these big long strands of spinach, especially if you're using like fresh spinach. I use the bagged spinach, and frozen spinach is pretty much already cut, but if you're using fresh spinach, sometimes the spinach is really long, so it's always good to chop it. That way the pieces are sort of bite-sized when you're taking a bite. So I'm almost done. It wasn't so long after all, right? I have my assistant here who's not too happy to be an assistant, so he's being forced to hold the camera. I won't mention his name, but okay, so there we go. So here's my filling. So it's my crumbled feta, my dill, my green onions, my parsley. I'm going to add my spinach, and then I'm going to add my pepper. Pepper is to taste. You don't add salt usually because the feta cheese is already really salty. Okay, so we'll see pretty much how many eggs we're going to need, because I don't usually measure when I make it for myself. So I have now become my mother. I don't measure. So we'll see how many. I think it's going to need at least 3 eggs, maybe more. All right. And you just go hog wild with your hand. It's the best way. Could use a spoon, but I found this way the cheese continues to get crumpled. The spinach too, you break it apart easily with the, because it's, you know, it's been wrung out and it's all sort of stuck together. So this way, you might need another egg. How many eggs did I put in there? 4? Yeah, I'm going to put another one in. So again, don't listen to what I'm saying as far as recipe goes. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the video. Okay, so here's my phyllo. Looks like it dried out a bit. So you put one layer of phyllo down, add a little bit of oil, okay, and make sure the oil is all over. Spread it out well so that all of the phyllo is covered. Otherwise it will become really brittle and it will break. So you do this, I would say, for about 8 phyllos. See, another one. And you have to put some olive oil in between each phyllo. Okay, so I like a lot of phyllo, so I would put maybe eight at the bottom and then 8 at the top. Okay, so here's my last one of phyllo. Buttered it, oiled it well. Okay, and now I'm going to add my filling. Pour this slowly, and then spread it. That looks good. Looks good, eh? Yeah. Okay, so I'm not using all the filling. I'm going to use it. I'm going to make another one. Okay. On my last phyllo. Now we got to make sure you oil all the sides, otherwise this phyllo will be really super crispy and it will break off. Okay. So once you've done that, you're going to now score, actually cut it in the size pieces that you want. I'm not going all the way down. Just, it's more to cut the top layer of phyllo. I'll tell you why. Because once it's baked, it's so difficult to cut because the phyllo, it breaks and really makes a mess. So this way, once it bakes, it'll be very yummy and you won't have to make a mess cutting the pieces. So we're going to put this in the oven. It takes almost about an hour. And I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. So here it is. I just took it out of the oven. It's looking really, really great. Nice and crispy. Look at the top. Crispy. And the house smells amazing. So I'm going to cut it and show you what it looks like. Let it cool for a little bit. But give it a try.